Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. All right, so we're gonna do a quick video on this issue. Had this issue a couple of days ago. You guys have this issue, definitely gonna want to watch this video because it was an easy fix. But a couple of days ago I had no issues with my truck. Drove it without a problem, and out of nowhere, after I parked it, went back to my truck and tried to start it, and it would crank. I had power, but it wouldn't start up. So initially what I thought it might have been a battery, because the battery hasn't been changed on the truck for like 4 years. And I was thinking to myself right off the bat, it was probably the battery. I went back to the Home Depot, got a battery, popped it in, and to be honest with you, I was gonna get a battery anyway, because battery was 4 years old, and regardless of what it was, I might as well just check that off the list. Popped the battery in and still had the same issue. Now if you guys are thinking, why would you change the battery? It was cranking. But to be honest with you, I was thinking about getting a new battery for the truck the last couple of weeks anyway. Might as well just pop it in, because it was 4 years old. So this issue came up, so I did it anyway, because I was at a place that actually sold a battery. Popped it in, and I was hoping that would fix the issue, but it didn't fix the issue at all. Still had the same issue. It was getting power, it was cranking, no problem at all. I mean, it was still the same problem. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, it's probably something, right? Had to be something. I was thinking, well, it might be, let's see, thinking about easy fixes. I didn't want it to be the fuel pump. To be honest with you, I didn't think it was the fuel pump. There's a lot of things that could cause a crank no start issue. And second thing I did was, I was like, you know what? I had the remote. Have never actually changed the battery on the fob key and fob key remote. And I was like, well, you know what? I've never changed the battery. Chances are, it's probably old. Had the vehicle for more than 3 years. Actually, no. I had the vehicle for, yeah. And I was thinking to myself, might as well change out the remote, right? It's like $5, $6, or whatever. So I changed out the remote and was hoping that would fix the issue, but nope, still had the same situation. Crank no start. All right, so got rid of, checked off 2 things on the list as far as troubleshooting this whole entire scenario. Was gonna get a battery anyway, so got a new battery for it. Changed out the remote. Had to change out the remote anyway, because those batteries on the remote are probably good for like 3 to 4 years, and then they go bad. I think you gotta change it 3 or 4 years, but they were old, so I was there, so I changed that remote, and still had the same issue. So I was like, you know what? I'm at the Home Depot. They sell starter fluid. They have auto section. Got some starter fluid, sprayed into the intake, tried to start it, and had the same issue. It was crank no start. So at that point, I knew it wasn't the fuel pump at that point. All right, because if it was the fuel pump, it would have at least ran for like a split second, a couple of seconds, a second or two before it would die out. So it wasn't the fuel pump, which I'm glad about, because that would have been a big fix. And I always keep starter fluid around. I could always use that for these kinds of diagnosis and stuff like that. So right off the bat, I was thinking to myself, there's got to be something else, right? I went and checked the terminals, particularly the ground cable. Checked the ground cable just to make sure that it was connected. And yeah, it was connected. It was free of any kind of corrosion. It was in good shape. So I was thinking to myself, all right, now I remember having a check engine light I did not remember having a check engine light. I haven't had a check engine light for a while, but if I recall, I didn't have a check engine light before all this happened. But I was thinking to myself, well, let me just plug an OBD2 scanner in. All right. I mean, the only thing that could cause the things that could cause this essentially are like crankshaft sensor, camshaft sensor, mass airflow sensor, throttle position sensor. All those sensors actually have a code to them if those sensors break down or have any kind of malfunction or issues, stuff like that. So I plugged in OBD2 and I ran it, and it just hung. It didn't complete the process of analyzing. It just kept on running and running, and then after a couple of minutes, I just realized, you know, normally that should take maybe like it should take less than, like, I don't know, a lot of times less than 40 seconds, short amount of time for it to scan. This time it didn't scan all the way through. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I've had this situation before on another vehicle, and I kind of know what the situation is. All right, because it's got to be an issue with the ECM. All right. Normally, if you guys don't know anything about ECMs or malfunctionings with ECMs, or maybe a ground cable to the ECM that has issues, not getting enough power, etc., etc., what happens is one of two things. It's either not going to scan, or it's going to stop scanning at some point, and it won't scan all the way through. It won't give you a readout. A, or B, it scans all the way through and gives you like 10, 15 different codes. 10 codes. And all those codes have like nothing to do with each other at all, and none of those codes probably have anything to do with the crank no start issue. So those are the two things that I've known that gives you essentially a diagnosis of the ECM being the issue. All right, most of the time it's a crank no start, and then not only as a crank no start, but once you plug in the OBD2 scanner, it'll just hang, or it'll give you like 10-12 different codes with issues. With that it'll give you 10-12 different codes, but those aren't the cause of the issue, and the codes are bogus because the ECM's not having issues reading those sensors. So I was thinking it's gotta be a fuse. It's gotta be a fuse, right? I was looking at the fuses. And I was like, I looked at the fuse box. And looked at the description of the fuses on the cover, and came across the ECM fuse. What I did was I took a fuse from, I forget which fuse it was, but from another that powered up another part of the vehicle. You know what, to be honest with you, it might have been a spare actually. I popped that fuse out. I actually looked at it, and it looked like it was a little bit burnt. And I actually looked at the fuse, and it looked like it was blown. Swapped out the fuse and started up the car. It started right up. Plug in the OBD2 scanner. It scanned all the way through. I didn't really need to just plug in the OBD2 scanner, but it scanned all the way through. So that was the fix of it. That was the fix. All right, so if you guys have this situation, definitely check those things out, and that could probably fix your issue right there. It was an easy fix, not a big deal. Had to buy the battery anyway. Starter fluid, had to buy the battery anyway. Had to buy the battery on the change the battery in the key fob. Starter fluid, I always have some need for it to diagnose situations like this. So it really didn't cost me any much, but if you guys have your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. Guys, have any questions? Leave a question in the comment section. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Appreciate your time. All right, guys, take care.